time when the sound of church bells echoed through stone streets, and an unseen truth lingered beneath the surface. The strong influence of the church hung over people like a heavy mist, and a quiet sense of caution became part of everyday life. This era was not only the age of kings, knights, plagues, and wars. It was also a period shaped by a hidden system, one that revealed the shadowy side of human nature. This system was known as the Inquisition. The Inquisition was established to guide those who thought differently, to silence those who spoke too freely, and to maintain order throughout society. At the center of this structure were two words that continue to spark curiosity even today: this documentary, we will explore the background of the Inquisition, its inner workings behind closed doors, its underground chambers, and the silent methods that remained unspoken for centuries. Along this journey, you will hear accounts that never made it into official documents, private letters written by popes, descriptions of hidden rooms, and soft echoes from people who lived through that era. The Inquisition's purpose was not only to protect religious order, it also aimed to shape obedience, deepen caution, and maintain the Church's influence over society. Throughout this documentary, you will discover that the Inquisition was far more than a simple institution. It was a way of thinking, a method of control, and perhaps most importantly, a tool for guiding society into a single path. Now, it is time to explore this shadowed world, a world that most history books describe only on the surface. This is not just a look into the past. It is also a reminder of how far human systems have been willing to go to preserve power. So now, let us step into those stone structures, places with locked doors and only small traces of light, and uncover the true nature of the Inquisition. Throughout the Middle Ages, Europe struggled not only with political instability, but also with major shifts in religious and social life. Borders changed constantly, living conditions grew more difficult, and society moved through a period filled with uncertainty. In the middle of all this, one institution appeared unshaken and permanent: the Church. The Church was not just a place of worship. It shaped education, behavior, moral expectations, and even the rhythm of daily life. Its influence could bring communities together, yet at the same time, it could become a quiet, controlling presence overshadowing the people. Why was the Inquisition created? By the 13th century, new ideas and different interpretations of faith began to spread across Europe. These emerging viewpoints were seen by church leaders as a potential challenge to the order they had preserved for generations. To them, this wasn't simply about belief differences. It was a possible disruption to social harmony and a threat to established authority. In response, church officials created a new structure, one meant to protect unity, correct those considered misguided, and preserve the stability of society. This structure is what we now call the Inquisition. A sacred duty, the official purpose. The Inquisition was introduced with a clear message: to protect spiritual unity, to guide individuals back toward accepted beliefs, to maintain order within communities, to monitor ideas that might influence society. However, as time passed, this system grew beyond its original intentions. It slowly transformed into a method of shaping thought and regulating behavior, becoming an essential part of how society functioned. The subtle alliance between church and kings. To understand the true influence of the Inquisition, we must look at the close relationship between religious authority and political power. Many rulers of the era relied on the church to strengthen their own legitimacy. In return, the church benefited from the military and political support of those same rulers. This mutual partnership allowed the Inquisition to expand rapidly. Kings supported it to maintain order. The church endorsed kings by giving their rule spiritual justification, and the people lived under the combined authority of both powers. Inquisition officials, quiet but influential figures. Those who carried out Inquisition duties were among the most influential individuals of their time. They traveled from region to region, observing social conditions, gathering information, and preparing detailed reports. These reports were then delivered to monarchs and senior church leaders, allowing every local development to be closely monitored. When officials arrived in a town, whispers often spread among the people. Their presence alone could influence behavior, attitudes, and even the way communities interacted. Social impact, a silent transformation. While the Inquisition's stated goal was to maintain order, it eventually led to something deeper: communities began to act more cautiously, more quietly, and more uniformly. People became mindful not only of their actions, but even of their thoughts. A single careless comment, spoken in passing to a neighbor or relative, could suddenly become part of a larger process. Over time, the Inquisition evolved from a formal institution into a subtle presence that shaped the mindset of an entire society. During the Middle Ages, the Inquisition was more than just a name or an institution. Its influence stretched across every corner of society, forming a complex process that gradually shaped the lives of communities. From the outside, it appeared orderly and routine, but a closer look reveals a carefully structured system guiding how people lived, spoke, and interacted. Stage 1. Silent observation. The first step began even before Inquisition officials set foot in a town. Their presence alone marked the start of a process. Officials would quietly observe the local community, study social patterns, and note changes in behavior. They asked questions like, how is the community structured? Are there noticeable changes in behavior or customs? Are new ideas or interpretations of faith circulating? How do local leaders, clergy, and elders influence the people? All observations were carefully documented and sent to higher-ranking clergy and rulers. This created a social map of the area, which helped determine the next steps of the process. Announcements and public guidance. The second stage often involved a public meeting or an announcement delivered through the church. The tone was never threatening, it was informative, guiding, and subtle. Messages typically included, maintain harmony within your community, be mindful of ideas that might lead to confusion, unity benefits everyone. These announcements had a tangible effect. People became more cautious in conversations, and even minor interactions were approached thoughtfully. Private conversations, the informal stage. Before formal proceedings began, officials often held one-on-one discussions. These meetings were private, calm, and designed to gather information without causing fear. Officials usually spoke with local elders, clergy members, community leaders, influential townspeople. The goal was to understand the community, learn what ideas were circulating, and observe local attitudes. Some meetings lasted hours, others only minutes, but each played a critical role in shaping the overall process. The start of formal inquiries. Formal inquiries were never sudden. They followed careful observation and preparation. Invitations were issued politely, often framed as a request for discussion rather than an official summons. The focus of these conversations included beliefs and personal interpretations of faith, social behavior and community involvement, stories or rumors circulating in the area, personal experiences or observations. The purpose was not to punish, but to clarify and guide. Officials paid close attention to speech patterns, choice of words, pauses, and emotional reactions. Records, reports, and silent archives. A defining feature of the Inquisition was meticulous record-keeping. Every discussion, observation, and report was carefully documented. These records were shared with the Pope, senior clergy, local rulers, kings. Even the smallest developments in a town could reach the highest levels of leadership, creating a detailed picture of societal conditions across Europe. The gradual shift in society. From the outside, Inquisition meetings appeared simple, but the subtle effect on communities was significant. People learned to choose their words carefully, express their thoughts cautiously, respect social roles, remain aware of circulating ideas. This change was gradual. Over weeks and months, communities became quieter, more cautious, and more aligned in behavior. Inquiry rooms. Spaces of focus. History often describes inquiry rooms as intimidating spaces. In reality, they were usually simple, stone-walled rooms, softly lit by candles. Their purpose was to focus attention, encourage thoughtful discussion, guide the process in a calm, controlled setting. Stories of extreme tools or harsh practices are often exaggerated. The real goal was psychological clarity and providing guidance to maintain social order. The silent guidance of society. Ultimately, the Inquisition's inquiry process achieved more than individual compliance. It shaped the overall social environment, guiding behavior and encouraging cohesion. The most significant outcome was this. People learned to pay attention not just to what they said, but even to what they thought. The Inquisition process went far beyond formal discussions and record-keeping. Its true power lay in guiding people quietly and effectively, shaping behavior, encouraging cooperation, and maintaining social order, step by step. Community observation and subtle influence. When officials arrived in a town, their first task was always observation. They would walk the streets, examine marketplaces, and note the daily rhythms of life. Who spoke carefully, who acted differently, who influenced others. Every detail was meticulously recorded. These observations took place without direct contact, allowing officials to gather information and subtly guide the community without creating alarm. Gentle psychological guidance. During official meetings and announcements, Inquisition officials focused on guidance rather than intimidation. Words were chosen carefully, the tone calm yet firm. The goal was to help individuals reflect on their choices and align with the community's shared values. People began speaking more thoughtfully, measuring their social behavior, prioritizing trust and harmony within their communities. This gradual guidance encouraged individuals to regulate their own behavior and, over time, created a sense of calm and order across entire towns. Reporting and monitoring. After each interaction, officials prepared detailed reports for church authorities and local leaders. These documents captured not only spoken words but also nuances in behavior, hesitation, and social interactions. Through this meticulous system, even the smallest developments in a village could be understood in the broader context of society. Psychological influence on society. The Inquisition's power came not from harsh measures, but from psychological influence. Communities knew they were being observed and adjusted their behavior accordingly. People learned to regulate their actions, express thoughts carefully, make deliberate choices to maintain social cohesion. Over time, this led to the development of a standard behavioral model. Individuals retained apparent free will, but social and cultural pressures quietly encouraged conformity. The calm of the inquiry rooms. Inquiry rooms are often described as dark and intimidating. In reality, they were simple, stone-walled spaces, dimly lit, and quiet. Their purpose was to focus attention and create a controlled environment for open, honest discussion. Officials asked questions in a gentle, guiding manner, encouraging people to express themselves fully. This method increased individual awareness while supporting overall social order. Psychological effect. Silent teaching. Through these practices, the Inquisition guided society in subtle ways. People learned to self-regulate their speech, actions, and thoughts without overt pressure. The institution's influence spread like an invisible hand across the community. This shaping of society formed the foundation of the Inquisition's long-term power. Individuals and communities maintained harmony through their conscious choices, while the institution quietly fulfilled its role. Throughout the Middle Ages, the Inquisition functioned not only as an institution but also as a force that shaped the behavior, thoughts, and interactions of entire communities. Its presence was often invisible. People went about their daily lives, unaware that their actions were being subtly guided. Yet its influence left deep and lasting impressions on both individuals and society. Impact on individuals. People had to manage not only their words, but also their thoughts. Conversations with neighbors, village meetings, even private discussions at home were approached with careful choice of words. Expressing thoughts thoughtfully became a way to remain in harmony with the community. Uncommon ideas or unusual behavior could trigger social feedback mechanisms. Individuals learned to measure and adjust their actions for both personal safety and social acceptance. This process taught people to be self-aware and cautious. Every step became a practice in reflection and adaptation to their surroundings. Societal influence and silent transformation. The Inquisition gradually created a long-lasting change in society. Communities became more careful, quieter, and more aligned in behavior. Daily life was shaped by the need to monitor not just words but also thoughts. People observed and adjusted their behavior in social settings. Speech and actions were harmonized with social norms. The cohesion of society relied on individuals' conscious efforts to conform. This silent transformation demonstrated the Inquisition's most effective power. It guided people without overt force, achieving compliance through subtle influence. Individual stories and testimonies. Historical documents and correspondence reveal personal experiences. A family described how they reshaped their behavior within their village. Young people wrote about choosing words carefully when speaking with friends. An elder explained the importance of cautious interaction with neighbors to remain accepted in the community. These accounts show that the Inquisition's influence extended beyond official procedures. It shaped the minds and daily lives of ordinary people. Long-term societal effects. The effects of the Inquisition were not short-term, they persisted for generations. A quiet order formed within communities, with individuals self-regulating to maintain harmony. Self-guidance strengthened social stability. Collective thought patterns developed within a framework of conformity. This influence initiated a long-term process of social learning, passed down through generations. While the methods of the Inquisition may have appeared calm and measured, they created a powerful mechanism that shaped human behavior and social structure over time. Conclusion and reflection. Looking back, the Inquisition's impact is visible not only in history books but also in the psychological and social functioning of communities. Individuals and societies learned to maintain order through subtle guidance and silent influence. This quiet transformation profoundly affected the behavior of medieval communities. The Inquisition should be remembered not merely as a dark chapter in history, but also as a force that shaped human conduct. Its invisible influence established a delicate balance between social order and individual awareness, a balance that left a lasting mark on history. The shadows of the Middle Ages were shaped by powerful and subtle institutions like the Inquisition. But today, looking back, we see not only control and authority, but also the lasting influence these systems had on human behavior, social harmony, and the ongoing process of learning throughout history. This journey shows us that history is more than just events. Every structure, every system, and every institution worked as an invisible force, influencing thoughts and social interactions. The Inquisition, as one of these forces, left a quiet yet profound impact for centuries. If there is one lesson we can take from this documentary, it is this: communities, individuals, and our behaviors are often shaped by unseen mechanisms. The silent guidance of the past still teaches us about human nature and social structures today.